What is going up, traders? So in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the top 3 patterns that I use for day trading stocks, and I do this on a day-to-day basis, and I make anywhere between $100 and about $1,000 each and every day day trading stocks. So let's dive right into it. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is going to be called the Gap and Go. If you guys watched one of my previous videos, I actually showed this one live. And, it's a pretty good setup, and it works about, I would probably say, anywhere from 70 to 80%. And, I really can make a significant amount of money on this one. All right, so the very first thing you guys are going to want to do is you wake up, you're going to want to check the pre-market gap scanners. So doing this, you guys are going to find the most active stocks that was happening that night when you were sleeping. So as you check it, you say, okay, you put it in any stock that's over 4% and has a good catalyst. And catalysts are pretty much things that make a stock move. So it could be good news, good earnings, and, a ton of other different stuff, But so as you can see, AWX is gapping up just shy of a high of 43%, but it's maintaining around 26. So from there, I would definitely be notified right when I woke up about this. And so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check to see if it's over the 290-day moving average lines. So the pink one is the 90-day, which it's over, and the blue one is the 200-day. Now, this isn't 100%. I always like to check it because these lines often act as resistance points. So it's not, too far-fetched if it's way over, So I would always just keep that in mind. This is just my personal preference. I always like to check them. Even if they're over and it's like over 50%, I know that realistically I'm not going to have to worry about it. But since this is over, this is a very, very good stock, and it has a very good possibility to skyrocket because a lot of traders always will check that. So, and the next thing you're going to want to do is check to see if it's maintaining its pre-market highs. So as you guys can see, it looks like it has a pre-market high of around $7 in that ballpark area, and it has a resistance at $7. I don't know if I said resistance or support, but resistance at about $7, and it looks like there's a little bit of support at about $6.30, and the rest at about $5. But right now, as you guys can see, if you saw it, it was around $6.36, and the highs are $7. So it is somewhat near it. And what you're going to want to do is mark off the pre-market highs. So the next thing you're going to want to do is when the stock market opens, ding, 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 ding. So within pretty much the 30 or 40 minutes, the stock will most likely curve down like such, just because if you were holding a position on AWX and it was up 25%, you're most likely going to wake up and you're going to sell it. So that's what you're going to have, is a lot of selling pressure, and once it either bounces off a VWAP line or a other resistance point, that's why I like when they're below, because it can bounce off and continue up. But so once that bounces off, the next thing is going to be finding your good entry points. So what I always do is I always like to hop in right before pre-market highs, because then it will give it that extra boost to boost over it, and you can make a significant amount of money off it. And honestly, the best thing to do is, if it's in the possibility, I don't think it's in here, is to hop in either $half or whole dollars, because those tend to be very good support levels. So as you guys can see, the support or the resistance is at about $7. So I would most likely hop in at around $6.92 to scale up to $7. And I'm going to set my stop loss very tight. I'm going to set it, if I hopped in at 92, my lowest, my stops realistically is going to be right below the candlestick wick, just because that will be a trend reversal point. That will be a good indication. So as the stock breaks up, it's most like about 65% of the time, if it has enough volume and enough people, it won't even really test that previous resistance, now the new support. But this one did. It looked like the buying pressure wasn't too hot, and it just needed to pick up some more momentum. So now pretty much you're going to sit back and set your stops. This is very important because you don't want to get stopped out on a stock that you're already up on. So I always leave my stops at the exact same spot, realizing I'm already up. On this one, I'd already be up over 5%, which is very, very well. And even if you set your stops super tight, you can still make a significant amount of money off this. And as it tests here, you can either do two things. If you're already up, you can either sell and call it quits, or you can use the $7 mark as a new support, because whole dollars and half dollars tend to work as very good support. So if you hopped in at $7, now you can sit back and pretty much just keep an eye on the candlesticks and the stock volume. That's what I would check for. So, and each time the stock moves up, you move your stop loss up a little bit, up a little bit, up a little bit, up a little bit. So eventually you'd get stopped out on here at 751, which is a very good trade. It's 50-cent win, and that is just shy of 12%. So just there is very, very nice. So that is pretty much the Gap and Go setup in a brief video. I talk a lot more about it in the Gap and Go strategy. You guys can find that on my YouTube channel. All right, the next one here is going to be called, it's very simple, support and resistance, VKTX. This is one of the pre-market gappers that did one of the strategies we're going to be talking about today. Hold on. I have so many, like the days so long. I have 180 days for 5 minutes. It takes a minute, but all right. So this is the stock VKTX. As you guys can see, during pre-market, it had a nice support at about $22 and a pretty hard resistance at about 26 and a high of 28. But as you guys can see, the reason why this one would not be fit in that Gap and Go is because as it broke, or as it was hit that high, it really just faded off throughout the entire pre-market. So by the time you checked it in the morning, it was already $7 away from the pre-market highs, and realistically it could get some buying pressure back up, but it will most likely fail. And yeah, but okay, so this one we're going to be talking about the support and resistance lines. All right, so let's do this. All right, so as you guys can see, there is a pretty hard support at about 18.21, and as the stock taps it multiple times, you guys could honestly make very, very good textbook trades off this. So if let's say you hopped in at 18.20, and within the first couple of minutes, you guys could be up. Most likely you're going to miss this one because it's going to be testing it and it's going to bounce. Here you're going to be still watching, but when it fails to break this, that means because there's a previous resistance here, as you guys can see, it spiked up, hit it, got rejected, consolidated a little bit, fell, and got some more buying pressure, tapped it, failed, and continue to fall. So realistically, you're going to be seeing it around here. Hold on a sec. Whoops. Wrong drawing tool. All right, so you're going to be, whoa, drawing. I don't know why it didn't work. There it goes. So realistically, you guys are going to be seeing it and hopping into this trade somewhere in here. As you guys can see, it has a decent, confirmation. It's not too good just because of this one being so small, but if it was a longer candlestick, that would look more intriguing for sure. So even if you went small size right here, you could still pay out on it big time. See, this is where I made my trade today, was right in here. I had alert set after I saw it break, or after I saw it bounce here. I set an alert right here at 1820, and right when it tapped here, I got notified, and all I did was, okay, previous, support here, setting stops very, very tight, and let's see what we can do. So the stock hit it, bounced at that support, and we cashed out almost near the top. I want to say, I think we cashed out over around this area. So this would be a 12% gain because it was around $20. So yeah, around here. But so right there, 12%, fantastic. Just judging support and resistance lines. Also, and these ones are 2 long strategies. Now we're going to be covering 1 short. Alright, so as you guys can see, there is this one we're going to be looking at pre-market because I couldn't find any stocks excuse me, that had it today. But so let's say this was during market hours, and as you guys can see, there's a nice support at about 22 bucks, and it tapped it, multiple times. As this candlestick breaks it, this is where you're going to want to hop in on the short side, meaning you predict for it to go down. Excuse me, man. But anyways, so as you hop into this, the reason why we know it's called a support break, that means all the buying pressure left the market, and now majority of the people that are looking at this stock are shorting it. So you could make another very good textbook short, and you'd want to set your stops here very tight again at about 22.85, and pretty much you could definitely make some very, very good money very fast off this. So if you hopped in and you waited for it to break this, so you're in at 22.45 just from here, and you sell on this big buying pressure up here, that's 7%. So it's very easy, and you really got to study these strategies more in depth like I did for starting out. I found something that worked, I stuck to it, and now it's making me decent income. So that's it though. That is the 3 stock patterns that I use each and every day. So first, the gap and go setup. Second, support and resistance. And third, support break. And also, the support break can also be used as a resistant break, kind of like the gap and go. But that's it though. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment of your favorite strategy down below. I'd love to hear it. Check it out and learn something new. So that's it though. Remember, always stay happy, stay positive. And I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day and rest of the week.